today?
Thought he looked like Brady Croft, but in a better coloured jersey.
Leeds has won back-to-back Rugby League titles. The golden generation finally has its golden fleece. No England game, it seems, is complete without a Ryan Hall try. Jamie Peacock.
Kevin Sinfield.
Rob Burrow.
Jamie Jones Buchanan for Leeds. It's one of the most popular beards in rugby league now.
There aren't many in Super League that can do that.
We just want to be a great friend, and if we can all try and be a bit of a better friend from time to time, I think we have a bit of a better place to live in.
The Lot Pod is kindly sponsored by Fast Signs. Fast Signs are an established family-run business who've been providing businesses around Leeds and West Yorkshire with effective signs and graphics for almost 30 years. Fast Signs are passionate about helping customers make a statement with signs that are eye-catching, effective and delivered fast.
Hi everybody, welcome to the Lot Pod, the Leeds Rhinos Lot 17-8 podcast, kindly sponsored by Fast Signs. Match review panel time for London versus Leeds. Lucky us, there's no Statman Rhyse today because he went down to that there London. So joining me in a moment, once I'll just read a few bits of housework, is producer Chris and someone else who we'll introduce in a second. We have a Patreon. We're now putting it at the start of the podcast because we love Patreon. Patreon.com/the Lot Pod. Subscriptions are available from £1, £3 or £5 if you'd like to support the pod even further and help us improve what we do and the content we create on our content creating journey. And also, or more importantly, buy us some drinks for the Lot Pod fridge in the studio because it is getting a bit sparse. And also, we need some strong drinks, it seems, to get through this end of the season. Shout out to any breweries who fancy filling it up as well. We don't mind waving a special tin or wearing a t-shirt or anything. So fill us up, fill up our fridge. Producer Chris, how are you?
I'm all right.
You all right?
I was better
Nice.
before 3 o'clock.
For what we've witnessed. Just for our YouTube, we're live on YouTube by the way. For our YouTube viewers, Chris, what shirt is that?
It's like a retro Australia shirt. I think they wore it for a one-off test or something. So it's the original colours. That's why Queensland and New South Wales had those colours.
Ah, well, there we go.
Original Australia shirt.
That is an absolute beauty. And making what I think is his hat-trick appearance, it's Sam. Is that right, Sam? Hat-trick?
Well, for this season, I think it is. It was nearly hat-trick appearance in the studio as well, but had a late change. Actually, I think this might be my fourth this year, because I've done 2 from home and 2 in the studio.
Oh, it's your fourth. I do apologise. Yeah. I missed your hat-trick. Well, there's your hat-trick ball. Anyway, you scored. Let's get to the real important stuff here. Sam, what did you make of Deadpool and Wolverine?
Very good. Very good. Enjoyed it a lot.
Right. Yeah, not bad.
That opening scene, had me straight away. So, yeah, enjoyed
Absolutely brilliant.
A much better way to spend 2 hours than this afternoon.
Let's just talk about that instead. All agree? Yeah, let's talk about the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Everyone wants it. No, we did win. I think that's the key takeaway here before we get our teeth into this one. London versus Leeds, match review, panel time. Brody Croft wins it in Golden Point with a lovely drop goal. 21-22, the Rhinos. Producer Chris, what can we take as positives, do you think, from this one?
That we got 2 points, and that's it.
Thanks, everyone. We'll be back in the studio next week. Anything else, do you reckon we could scrape the barrel? No?
I suppose we had the composure to get it over the line. That last set was probably the best set of the game.
Yeah.
It was such a low bar.
It was ground floor.
Yeah. It was just turgid.
I thought you were going to say turd, which is also accurate.
I think it was like an amateur game, or I've seen better amateur games. was
that would be an insult to the amateur game, I feel.
Yeah.
The Golden Point game against London about 6 weeks ago, whatever it was, I took Ellie, my girlfriend, to that game, and I said to her at that one, this is up there with the worst game of rugby league I've ever seen. And then she came up about half an hour into today's game, and I said, I said that one was bad. This one's worse. She was like, no, surely not. Like, no, believe it. This is awful.
Was it your girlfriend's first game, that London game, Sam?
No, fortunately not. She was.
I'm going to say, because you're not ever coming back if that's the case.
No, well, she's seen a few better ones, but yeah, that one was particularly bad. And I don't think she's got any appetite to watch it again after seeing that second half of today. So,
watch now. No, I'm watch Bridgerton or something. Is that what? Yeah. I've got. It was a perfect weekend again because Scum lost, United won, and the Rhinos won. And that's the second perfect weekend in a row. I have asked Andrew, aka AFC Stats, to clarify just when that happened in history, because I don't recall it happening for a very, very long time. I've got written down here for positives as well. Rhyse Martin reached 1,000 points for Leeds, which I thought was absolutely excellent of him. Hat-trick for him, goal kicker supreme, and all the Leeds fans that travelled down as well. Potentially some, well, I know there's at least one watching or listening to this as they make their way back, so safe journey to you all. Rhyse Martin, Sam, great game. Big loss when he leaves. 3 well-taken tries and scored all of our points except one. Do you think it's going to be a massive, massive loss? Because I'm starting to get even more petrified at the thought of him not being here next year, Sam.
Yeah, it's a bit concerning, isn't it? Because he's just so consistent, and you can rely on him to kick goals. He's chipping in with tries. He's just a very good player who's served us really well for 5 years when we've been a pretty average at best rugby team. So it's a massive shame that he's leaving, and I think there's an opportunity there to bring in a sort of different style second row.
I agree. Yeah.
Bit better with offloads, mixing it up a little bit compared to McDonnell on the other side, if that's who's going to be the other second row. But he's finding a player with the same consistency is going to be probably the biggest job that we'll have for a good number of years. And there's a lot of big jobs to be done as well, so that's saying something.
There absolutely is. Is it an impossible job, Chris, replacing this man?
Like for like, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think you can do it.
It doesn't exist, does it? No. Yeah.
No. So then you've got to go for a different type of player. It's funny that Brad Arthur said that he didn't think Rhyse had a particularly good game. There were bits of his game that weren't very good. You can't. I don't think we need to replace like for like because you're not going to do it.
Well, you can't. It doesn't exist, does it? I don't think.
There's not a lot of goal kicking second rowers, is there?
No.
He's playing more of a centre as well at the moment. I think, because I think both the centres are playing pretty poor, so he's doing a lot of that work as well. Like the one that he scored off Frawley's kick, which was really good work from Frawley. That actually, it was like it's really wide out, so it was like being the centre. None of the centres were anywhere near it.
Nowhere near it. Yeah. I think Hull are getting an amazing player. Honestly, there's any Hull
the only thing I'd say is he's getting older, isn't it?
Yeah. So let's try and dim it down a bit. He's getting older, slower. I'm just playing mind games with myself, trying to play it down. Well, I am, because the last time I felt this gutted, I think I've only ever felt gutted 3 times about a Leeds player leaving. First one, obviously, with Yestin. Second one, obviously, Danny and Takea. And then this one, Takea. But I am positive. I'm gutted he's going. And as everyone knows, if anyone's listened to this pod before, you'll know that once a Leeds player leaves Leeds, they're dead to me. Absolutely dead. I hope he leaves Leeds, which is gonna, and has the worst time. Okay, I'm sorry, Rhyse. I'm an honest man, and I wish him nothing but the worst. As soon as you put a Hull KR shirt on, that's how petty and vindictive I am. I do feel I am excited, having said that, about the prospect of Brad Arthur having a quarter spot to kind of fill with Ryan Matterson. I've said too much. I've said too much. We've had 2 games now, chaps, taken to Golden Point by London, who are the worst side in the league. They are bottom. That's incredibly bleak, by the way. I still think, or let me put this as a question, Sam. Do you think we kind of said this before, we've said this loads of times, but do you still feel we're a side that matches the standards of our opponents, Sam? So for instance, when we play Wigan, we play better. Our performance and our form goes to a higher standard. Yet when we play London, we're getting dragged through the game into Golden Point. So do you think we're struggling to sort of raise our game against sides that we should be beating more comfortably?
Yeah, on the last point for sure. I don't think we're matching opposition every time. Otherwise, we wouldn't have had such a bad record against Saints and whoever over recent years. But definitely when we play teams lower down in the league, it just seems like, I was thinking about this earlier, and there's 2 games against London this year, losing to Wakefield last year, losing to Cass last year. It seems that, I know, like fully aware we haven't been great for a good number of years, but we do have quality in the team. But when we go to these teams, and it seems like, that they're struggling, they're at the bottom of the league, it should be a fairly easy game for us. We never actually have that easy game. It's always a bit of a struggle. And I think as soon as the other team starts making errors or they're looking a bit scrappy, we just start doing the same. And I don't know whether that's because, as I said, we aren't that good at the moment and haven't been for a few years, or we get complacent and think, well, they've not turned up. We can just do his job and get an easy win. But then they start trying to do that and they don't actually do their job. And it just seems to be something that happens over and over again. And there doesn't seem to be an end to it, really, even with, I know this isn't Brad Arthur's fault at all, because it's the same group of players, but he's made a big difference over the last couple of weeks, and we've all been able to see it. But it just shows that this group of players does have that, still have these kind of performances in them, and it is a concern that they're happening as often as they are against this sort of opposition.
Absolutely, Chris. Is this is this one of the main priorities for Farmer Arthur, concentrating on kind of getting the side playing consistently well?
I think so, and I don't know whether it's
regardless of who we play.
I don't know whether it's because they've changed the style so much and it's much more physical, and they've done it for 6 weeks. Have they hit a ceiling? Have they hit a wall? I don't know. Are they mentally weak? Because today it just looked like they couldn't be bothered.
And that's a worry.
Couldn't even be bothered to hold on to the ball.
That's a criticism that's been aimed at them for years, though, isn't it? There's certain players in the team that they do just look a bit lazy, and that again, some of them, probably aren't good enough, and definitely aren't good enough. That's not all of them, but just some of them. And then there's fitness as well, because we've had more energy under Arthur, but you can tell that the players are blowing, and they do get to a point where it's like they just need to hold on for a bit here now, because it's.
I do think a lot of that's down to having no pack.
Oh yeah, that will help. Yeah,
we've got 2 props, and they play 10 minutes per half each.
Yeah.
And then we've got no props.
We need some props.
I know little Tom's in, but little Tom's a young kid, isn't he? So he's not. He's going to make mistakes. He's going to have bad games.
And his best years are to come, without a doubt.
We need some props with the energy of James Bentley.
Yeah.
And the aggression. There were only him, Miller, and Martin that came out with any credit today, I think.
Yeah, I agree. Does it highlight? Well, it does. It highlights that more time is required. Arthur needs more time to mould this side to resemble something like a Brad Arthur team. And I know we've said this a million times, but that's sport, and things can't change quickly in sport. Sometimes it does take time. Well, that always takes time. I think it'll be worth the wait in 2025. We just have to get there. And I'm absolutely 100% fed up of saying these type of things, by the way. I want success now because it's been too long. And by success, I mean playoff football. Just want something where we're competing where we should be. We are Leeds Rhinos, for God's sake. The Kershaw try shouldn't have been given, should it, Chris? The Roman try was in touch.
It's just one of them things. If it had gone up as no try, it wouldn't have been given. It's gone up as a try.
And again, Sam, it's one of those where we just need to get rid of the on-field decision. Do you agree?
Yeah. Most referees are video refs especially, the hands are behind the back, aren't they? They can't do anything about it because
it's crazy. It's crazy.
Unless they have definitive proof, and most of the time the camera angles that they actually have access to aren't good enough anyway. Like, they're not actually providing the answers they need. So what they're meant to do sometimes. But that one earlier, I was actually screaming at the telly saying you're looking at the wrong knee, because it was looking at the one that was closest to the camera, whereas the other one that looked like it was out. I was saying, that one's fine. It's like this closest one. No, he's got two legs. Look at them both.
Hop it, Kershaw. I always scream at my telly as well, no matter what I'm watching, Sam.
I don't watch a lot of Leeds games on TV because I like to go, but obviously I'm watching this one on TV, and I felt nothing. I wasn't even shouting at the screen.
Just pure apathy.
Whatever.
just
weirdly, that was the only bit of the game that I did actually get animated at. Just because there were actually, I said tell a lie, there were two bits. There were that one, and I think it was the fifth video ref decision in about 3 minutes when he just would not make a decision on field. I was sick of just watching somebody make decisions. Like, why does anybody want to watch this? Because it's taking 15 minutes just to get through 5 minutes of the actual game at the moment. So they're the only two bits I were bothered about. The rest of it, I thought, I still can't see us getting the playoffs. And if we're playing like that...
Hang on, that's later in pod, hang on. Spoilers.
He's trying to get it over and done with.
I wonder what Sam's going to say later when I ask him if we're going to make it into Brodie Croft, Chris, comes up clutch again with the winner. He was clearly very relieved when it went over from his little celebration. He's an enormous player for us. What did you think of Brodie today?
I thought he was poor all game. His kicking was terrible.
Yeah.
But clutch playing it.
Yep. Stand up when it matters and pops it over. Again, against London. Again.
I thought he wasn't very good today. But I know he's had some personal stuff as well, hasn't he? And
yes.
Back to a throw from Australia and stuff like that. Not that it's an excuse, but and I think they're struggling from having no platform again.
Well, there's no one there, is there, to set that? So they're playing off nothing. Absolutely nothing. What did you make of his performance, Sam?
Yeah, the same. I actually messaged my mate during the game saying I don't know.
Sell him.
I'm not quite that far. But yeah, he's not been the same player for a couple of weeks. It probably is to do with that, the family bereavement.
I think so, yeah.
And he was so good at the start of the season. I think we can, let him off for a few off performances because he was clearly the best player for a while for us and carried us when we were, really struggling and looking poor, and his quality was shining through. So, as far as I'm concerned, he's allowed a few of these type of games.
Of course he is, and he'll absolutely come good. Obviously, he's gone through a few personal things, which is incredibly sad. I'm supporting for that, and I'm adamant he'll be back with a bang. The forward pack, can we call it a forward pack? What is it? If it ain't a forward pack, what do we call this? These props that we do have, and what did you make of how they played today, Chris?
They were crap, but they've been all right for the last few weeks.
Yeah, I'd say poor today, but I think they've been better recently.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even remember doing anything good.
Whatever.
Not today, anyway. I think we're a bit of nothingness, and they're not playing long enough minutes, and we can't afford that, can we? Like I say, Little Tom didn't have a great game, but he's a young kid. And
these are going to come across. These are going to happen.
Bentley was the best prop, and he's not even a prop. I don't even know whether we're playing a prop. I don't know where.
Is he a prop now? I think is he a prop now? How many games do you have to play a prop to become a prop?
He was playing prop, so
Right.
he's a prop. We don't have any other options, so he is our prop now.
He must be a prop. He's in a few other. What did you make of the? We can't call him a pack. What did you make of the props today, Sam?
Yeah, just rubbish. That is the word for it. Rubbish. Lasoni's really confuses me because I don't know when these are the games that he's meant to have the massive impact in, because we're playing one of the clubs towards the bottom of the league who have you would expect to have the lower quality players. So why he's not just making a massive impact against these kind of teams, I'm not quite sure. And then Sangare doesn't actually. I don't actually expect anything from him. So that performance today was no surprise to me. He actually made 10 metres at one point, and that was the biggest surprise to me from him. So
that was a surprise.
Yeah, I think he's in.
That's when you should have been shouting at the telly again, going, wow.
It is nice to know that you can do it sometimes, but once every 6 weeks ain't quite good enough, is it? I'm
kind of glad. Well, part of me is glad there's no stats on this pod for this.
We're just going to go and have a look now and see how many metres.
Chris, I'll Phil. You have a look and see what you can find, or will Phil? You see what you can find.
It'll be terrible. Let me see.
Well, so just make them up. People will believe us. Just make them up. Wow, James Bentley got 112 meters. What did you think of Ollie Leyland, Sam? Obviously, the London halfback. He's going to play Super League, you would assume, with or without London. What did you make of his performance?
I think he's a pretty good player. He's quite raw. I think there's a few bits he needs to work on, but every time we played London this year, he's stood out for them for me. Yeah. He's, when he's got the ball, he's always threatening to make things happen, and his kicking game. I thought has been quite decent as well. So I think him and I can't remember his name now, but they're 6 as well. Campagnolo or something like that. Yeah, he was well. I liked both of them. They're halves this year. They've worked out that they can cause Super League teams problems, so they're obviously decent at attacking. I think them two are right at the heart of it. So I don't actually like playing against London because it
always goes to golden point.
Yeah, well, that and the fact those kind of players are the ones that we always seem to struggle against because we just can't close them down, and they just get offloads away, and it second phase players, and it just ruins us, and it drags us into those games. So yeah, they were pretty good, I thought.
Is that enough time for some stats, Chris?
God, just looking at them. Sam Lasoni made 39 metres.
Yeah, we'll leave the stats there.
They do sometimes change overnight, as Rhyse tells me. But
Rhyse just makes them up, doesn't he? So.
39 metres off 4 carries. He did 4 carries during the whole game.
Oh. He's a starting prop as well, though, at the moment. How are you only doing 4 carries?
Justin Sangare did 6 carries for 62 metres. So that's not as bad.
So it's better.
Yeah. Rhyse Martin, 25 carries and 211 metres.
Wow.
Lachie, 24 carries, 173 metres. So basically,
big numbers, these.
Basically, it's right. Cameron Smith's doing 17 carries. The backs and Rhyse Martin are doing all work, aren't they?
They're doing the props job. Well, the 2 free props that we have. That's appalling from Lasoni. Those numbers there. I'm sorry, but
I feel like that happens quite a lot though with Lasoni. People seem to love him because he'll put a decent performance in every now and again. Or he'll put a big tackle in, and he interacts with the crowd afterwards. But I don't think he actually makes that much of an impact most of the time. Well, he's far from the worst of our props, but
4 carries.
Good enough, is it? James Bentley.
Otherwise, we'd cry.
16 carries and 170 metres.
Yeah.
It's depressing, that, isn't it?
Yeah, let's move away from the pack.
Especially when we miss Mick, don't we? Because he'll do 100.
Because he is the pack.
Yeah.
Because people are giving him stick this year, though. I'll never get my head around that, saying that he's not the player he was. Well,
no, unbelievable.
He's just knackered. And it's the same for Cam Smith as well.
Yeah,
he hasn't been as good this year, but he's doing so much work.
He's covering for not having a pack.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. They're trying to do more than what they perhaps need to. Lachie Miller, last week we waxed lyrical and spoke really highly of Lachie. He didn't win Fast Science Player of the Match, but we still spoke highly of him. What did you make of his performance today, Chris, as chairman of the Lachie Miller fan club?
He was probably second best player on pitch. I think somebody said that in the comments.
Yeah.
And probably for his defensive work, which he, people criticised him for that, didn't they? But he saved the try by knocking the ball out of Maloudi's arm. And he did make a great cover tackle, even though it got given as a try. Yeah,
that still was / should have been.
Yeah, and then he put another decent tackle on Ollie Leyland, I think, who was free.
Who was free, yeah.
But he's one of only a few people that are putting the effort in. And I think he's getting better and better because he's running more direct. He's not running side to side. Just looking at stats, he not as usual amount of tackle busts, but still 8, so the highest.
Yeah, still the highest.
But that's quite low for him, isn't it? So
usually gets about 74. Is it a game? He'll beat same man 6 times.
I think he's one of the only few that seem to be putting the effort in.
Yeah, you agree with that, Sam?
Yeah, definitely today. I've said a few times this year that I'm not actually a massive fan of Lachie Miller. I think
what? Get out.
Yeah, I don't think I've actually said it when you've been on a podcast.
Talking to the chairman of the fan club, Sam.
I think Brad Arthur's kind of said it since he came in that he was putting a lot of energy and effort into it, but he wasn't actually producing much. Yeah. Sort of doing the wrong things and trying a bit too hard. But he's definitely been better since Brad Arthur came in. And today he was the performance was that messy that he was
Lionel Messi.
He was one of the only ones who, was actually trying to, I suppose, put some not structure because that's not his sort of play, but his get us going a little bit and create things. So I was actually pretty pleased with him today, and not being a fan of him, it takes a lot for me to say that. But yeah, it's a
great team.
I must admit that he was good today, and he has been good recently. And I think it was after the Hull KR game, I messaged Rhyse saying, that's enough for me. I don't think he's got the quality at his age as well to learn how to be a rugby league player good enough, at the standard needed to be towards the top of Super League. But I've actually changed my mind on that now because I think he's shown glimpses that he's learning, and once we have that pack and a bit of a platform, that he's got the quality there to actually contribute more than he has done this year. Even though his numbers this year I saw last week, and they made me look a bit daft as well. So maybe I should
join the fan club.
I think he's admitted himself that he's not fit enough yet. So I think he'll probably need a big pre-season. Well, they all do, don't they?
I think they'll all get one as well, Chris. I really do.
Yeah. They'll either get a big pre-season or they'll get booted out.
Yeah, it's one or the other. 173 metres for Lachie. These are monster numbers. These chewing them up. Absolutely unbelievable numbers.
I think there's a few that have got quite a lot of metres, like Harry.
212.
What did he get? 120.
Yeah.
Which I'm surprised at because I can't even remember seeing him. Jared got 120. And Cameron Smith got 109. So it's We've got a few people making meters, but you should against London, shouldn't you? And that's no disrespect to them.
You should against London, and you should beat them by 120 as well, but we didn't. So. But we did beat them, and that's all.
I mean,
that really
to be fair
matters.
to them, I will be fair to them. They've picked up a bit of form, haven't they, recently? They've won 2 out of the last 4, I think, going into this.
Yeah.
I know they beat Hull, but Hull beat us.
God. Oh my God. I wiped that from my memory, Chris, and now there it is. In front of me. Should we give London credit, Sam? They were.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean,
better side today.
You've just said it there that teams just they expect to turn up and beat London, but I think they've shown more than enough this season that they're not that sort of not the team that will just roll over for you, even though they are at the bottom of the league. They're they're good. They're decent in attack anyway. They've got ability to score points, and they'll put the effort in for the full game. They don't sort of get disheartened unless they are 40 odd points behind, which has happened. But if they're in the contest, they really are in the contest. They're
in the fight for it, yeah. Mm.
Yeah, they're making it difficult for the other side. So it's full credit to them because they've actually done that twice to us in 6 weeks. And even though the first meeting with them, I think we ended up beating them fairly convincingly. It wasn't a walkover. So yeah, I think if they've done it 3 times to us and twice probably should have beat us, you can't say it's a fluke, can you? That they're nearly doing it. I think that's what they are. And was it Lee that played last week? They were saying in commentary, and they gave them a good game as well.
They did. The scoreline didn't reflect that game. I watched that game, and basically it blew out in the last 10 minutes. But they were really close. They gave Lee a real battle. So I think we've got to give them some credit. I don't think they're getting hidings very regular anymore, are they? So
no, they're a talented side, and they've actually adjusted to the league quite well, given that they've got part-time players, and off the pitch they're not real. Well, they're far from a Super League setup. So I think they've actually coped quite well, considering the wider circumstances of the club, and they've surprised quite a few right throughout the season, so fair play to them.
I think what they should do is just get rid of Huddersfield.
Castleford.
Well,
I mean both, not just one. Salford, there's 3.
I just don't understand what Huddersfield bring to the league whatsoever. Just swap them. Swap London and Huddersfield.
Do you think there's any chance? I suppose IMG have already set the criteria, to what 2025 and beyond is going to look like. Do you think, Sam, anything that London have done this year, do you think that could have swayed things at all, or do you think IMG have just made the bed and that's that?
I think that's that. Yeah,
and that's a big shame. I feel that's a massive, massive shame.
Yeah, in sport, I always think that on-field performance should count for something, and I know they are bottom on performance, but whether they've got the right setup off the field or not, if they earn the right to be in Super League, or they've played well enough in the Championship to get promoted, I don't think they should be stopped because they don't have some things in order off the field, unless it's sort of financial issues that we saw with Toronto that meant players weren't getting paid. Obviously, if that kind of stuff's happening, then step in. But it's just a shame that these. I actually quite like the new system, but it is a shame that teams like London probably won't get that opportunity to play in Super League if they've actually earned it on the field because of stuff outside the players' control.
You agree, Chris?
Yeah, I think it's just a quirk of the system, isn't it? I mean, nobody thought London were going to get promoted last year, let's be honest.
No, we didn't.
I mean, I'm glad they did because, did they beat Featherstone or did they?
Toulouse.
Oh, was it Toulouse?
Toulouse?
Anyway.
Would it Toulouse in Toulouse as well?
I think if it were all possible, we'd be better just having a 14-team league from next year. Put Toronto and Wakefield up, then keep it as it is.
Toronto?
Not
lose.
Toronto. To lose. Right. Put
Bring
Toronto
them
back.
back, says Chris.
And
Bring
have
the
a
wolf back. Let it rise like the phoenix.
14-team league home and away fixture list. But the clubs won't do it. They won't share the money, will they?
Nope. It's like a working men's club committee. That's all they are.
That's
It's our
all they
money.
need. Yeah, that's all they need to do is make it 14 teams, keep London, Toulouse and Wakefield back up.
Lovely.
Then
Perfectly.
somehow have a 13-team league and get rid of Huddersfield.
And Castleford. Just get rid of Castleford. Get rid
I
of
quite-
both.
I quite like
Merging
it.
both.
I quite like going to Castleford though. It's a good away day.
Castleford.
Yeah, I like Castleford away. It feels.
I do actually. It's my favourite way.
I know you've got
Yeah.
to get your jabs before you go and stuff, but
Yeah. It's just like going back in time, isn't it? It's a real time portal.
they have.
I'm the
So I'm,
type
saying
of
that, I
that
quite
much.
like, I'm saying all that, but I quite like Huddersfield away games as well.
I love it. Absolutely. It's on my doorstep.
Sorry, if there's any Huddersfield fans watching, I'm not.
But have you got here, Huddersfield fans? Have you found this pod?
I don't know. Yeah, there's three of them.
Yeah. And they're all watching this. Brad Arthur said after the game that he agreed with us that London were the better team. He said that the Rhinos got lots of luck, or a bit of luck towards the end, that the Rhinos got the 2 points, but none of them are happy with how it happened, and that the performance was not good enough. Arthur continued and said, London beat Leeds in effort, physicality throughout the whole game. Leeds didn't execute their footy anywhere near good enough. We needed to take the 2 points or the season was over. By the way, Brad seemed incredibly unhappy in this post-game presser. So Arthur says there, Sam, they needed the 2 points to keep the season going. We are now 1 point behind League. We're on 27 points and we're level with Catalan on 26 points. So here comes the question. Playoff football, here we come, Sam. I wonder what Sam's going to say.
Not for me. I mean, it's still possible. I'm not writing it out because we can't writing it off because we can't do it. It's more that I playing like we did today, and I know there's still time to get a response because we're playing Hull next week, but we've been beaten by Hull, so there's no guarantee there. And then I just think Wigan finishing the year with Wigan then Hull KR away is just going to make it so difficult. So yeah, I can't see us getting the playoffs. And based on today, I'm not sure I'd want to watch it in the playoffs either. I feel like we're just making up the numbers if we get there.
Chris, am I right in saying you were of the same line of thinking of me that the Salford result was fatal? Or have you changed your mind?
I've changed my mind a bit.
Ooh, that's interesting.
I've sort of looked at the running. I think we're going to need 30 points, aren't we? So I'm just looking at the table. What we on, 26?
Yeah, 2 wins.
I'm hoping that the last game against Hull KR, they've either won the League Leaders' Shield or they haven't, and they can't win it.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Which makes that game to them, they might rest some players. It could. Well, we've got to beat Hull first, don't we?
We'll beat them.
Yeah.
I don't know. We scraped into the playoffs in 2022 we were in similar form, didn't we? Scrape past Castleford or
Last year, yeah.
So I know we look back fondly on that run, but we were pretty sketchy at some games, and we only just got into the playoffs. So we just need some
things have happened.
We just need some players back.
Mixed you reckon? Mixed back. He'll carry us all the way through.
I don't think Ash will be back, will we?
I don't think Ash is back. I think we're expecting Mick back. Hull next, Wigan, then KR. I still think I agree with who was it in our YouTube comments? Paul Ramsden, who says if Huddersfield had won today, I'd say we were in with a shout, but not now. I agree with that. I still felt the Salford result early in the year was when our season ended. I know Duncan don't know about Laurie, but Duncan's been fairly confident that Leeds will still make the playoffs since Brad Arthur came. But I guess we'll see. We'll see. And if we did, someone in our YouTube, Kirk Stulls number 12 on our YouTube live chat said, imagine watching us play like that in the playoffs. If we did make the playoffs, Chris, what you kind of said then, went under Rowan in 22 and went on that amazing run to the grand final. Would you, if we got into the playoffs, would you be expecting anything, or would it just be like, let's just throw our name in and see what happens?
Who knows? I don't.
Well, they said it in 22, right?
You know what I mean? I'm like, you can't predict them, can you? Because I wouldn't have predicted today's performance, but I don't. It's not that many games to win, is it? To get to grand final, if you can sneak into playoffs, if they can string a couple of performances together, but if they play like they did today, they'll get hammered and be out straight away. So it'll be all pointless.
But it'd be funny, wouldn't it, Sam?
Depends what you find funny, I suppose.
Getting destroyed.
Yeah, well, if we get in and we play like we did against Wigan the other week, then you can't rule that out, can you? But it's
right.
at the moment, I just feel like we're more likely to put in a performance closer to today than we are to Wigan. But that might be because I've just watched that game and I'm still a bit annoyed about it. So my answer might be different in 24 hours.
I think next week's game is important. It's a short turnaround.
It is 5 days, yeah.
They should be itching to get out there.
Hull a lot better than that.
Hull a pointless team at the moment, aren't they? Because loads of them are leaving and they just can't do anything.
And they've signed Caesar.
And you know they're on their holidays basically, aren't they?
Oh yeah, they're done.
So
they're just got London around.
It says last home game at season. If they've got anything about them, they'll be lucky to absolutely hammer them
and go out with a bang. Yeah.
And if they throw up what they did today, pointless getting into playoffs.
I think Arthur will demand a response from him based on that press conference as well. His sort of his demeanour in that. I think he'd want he won't be going easy on him this week, and he'll be saying you need to produce something next week.
I absolutely agree. I think his whole demeanour and his attitude in the presser, I thought he was biting his tongue really big time.
He's quite scared, doesn't he? I wouldn't want to get on the wrong side.
Yeah. It's like you said earlier, Chris, when he was talking about Rhyse Martin. I would perhaps expecting his whole demeanour and attitude to change when it came to Rhyse. But he just said, yeah, he got his 1,000 points, but played okay. There's a lot in there that we need to, and that's even the best player on the pitch. So I think, putting 2 and 2 together, I think they've had absolute pelters on the way home tonight. I think they'll be told we've got to be way, way better for Hull on Friday. Fast Signs player of the match time. We haven't put out the player ratings as we haven't done the form yet. We haven't posted it out because Rhys is in London. I'm hoping Rhys will just post it out so we can keep the scores for the whole season. I'm sure he will. But let's be honest, it is the easiest or one of the easiest player of the match votes we'll probably ever do on this podcast. Who's your Fast Signs player of the match, Chris?
Looks good. You can only go for Rhyse Martin, can't you?
I thought you were going to say Sangare.
Yeah,
Lissoni after that spell. Sam, do you agree? Rhyse Martin, is it the easiest choice ever?
Yeah, Martin, but I think we should give Miller a mention just for the effort that he put in. But it is Martin.
Yeah, it's probably good that we ain't got the player ratings because I wouldn't have been able to use my catchphrase, would I? None of them have been too low.
For the first time ever, you'd have been
too high. I'd have had to change it.
Or too high. It'd have been interesting because the player ratings would have been incredibly low for a win. That is quite unique, right? But we don't have any. I'm sure Rhys will put the form out so everyone can. Maybe people can sleep on it. Let's put it out on Thursday night.
Just get the player ratings up from the last time we beat London in Golden Point and say this.
Exactly.
Rhys probably got man of the match then, anyway. Yes, so the fast size player of the match is Rhyse Martin. Congratulations, Rhyse. The fast signed Matt Frawley second medal player of the match goes to Lachie Miller, because we are going to do that next year. That second place medal. Anything else, gentlemen, before we wrap this up? I think we've done really well to squeeze 45 minutes out of this, by the way. I'm sure you all agree. There just wasn't a lot of content there. Thanks, everybody that joined us in the YouTube chat. We really do appreciate you all taking part and joining in the discussion. Please do subscribe to us on YouTube as we crawl our way to 1,000 subscribers. We did say last week that once we do hit 1,000 subscribers, we will give away one of Rhyse's shirts from the Lockpod studio. He hasn't decided which one yet, but we will get to that. We'll probably give something else away with that as well. So make sure you create those burner accounts and subscribe to us on YouTube. Just search the Lockpod on YouTube, and that's us. That's our logo. Give us a subscribe. If you're listening on Spotify, please also rate us 5 stars, because we're totally worth it. Same on iTunes as well. It just boosts us really high up those podcast charts and makes us more visible to people on their Spotify and iTunes homepages. And again, the Patreon is available, patreon.com/the Lockpod. If you would like to subscribe to chuck us a few quid and support us further in our content creating journey. Thanks to Chris, thanks to Sam, thanks everybody for listening. We'll probably be back with the match review panel of the whole game from the studio. Take care.